We're going to finalize this chapter by talking about the aspect of carbon footprint realities in the supply chain. But first of all, I want to make certain we have an agreement and knowledge as to exactly what is a carbon footprint. A large part of it is about measuring emissions. It measures the impact of human activities on the environment in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. There's several different gas emissions that are out there, and the reality is it's a comparable mechanism, and it should be standardized across all different aspects of exactly what is a pollution and what isn't. Sometimes people get off and they start making allegations, but they need to go back and look at data. At the end, that's what it's about. Probably the biggest one is burning fossil fuels for whatever purpose, whether electricity, heating, transportation, manufacturing. I guess one of the social questions we should talk about is, should we be involved in maybe banning furnaces from all people in the houses in the United States? Should we ban stoves that use electricity because electricity somewhere has to generate power to use it? Should we ban stoves for gas cooking? Sometimes we get so excited about the opportunity to sit down and say, ban this. What is the overall payback? Especially, are you going to save planet Earth by banning gas stoves for all people from this point forward in history in the United States when you have 9 new coal plants being built on the other side of the planet? Sometimes we have to pay attention and balance it, except we're not here in this class or your job to sit down there and save the entire world. We're talking about your supply chain. So, can you reduce it for electricity, heating, transportation, and manufacturing? Probably the biggest ones you're looking at is really transportation and manufacturing. That's probably the biggest part, but also about the emissions from land use, contributor to climate change. Greenhouse gases, they're shown to trap heat in the Earth's atmospheres, and that can lead to global warming and to some extent climate change. Climate change also is a function of time. There was a period of time when we talked about 3 books that came out in the 1960s and the 70s that said the Earth is headed toward the next ice age. I was there. I saw the books. I thought, really? Now we're headed towards the Earth is headed toward the new climate change. We're getting hotter. I see some evidence of that, but I want to sit down and see, is it man-made? Is it natural? We do have climate change. The climate does change on a regular basis. Carbon dioxide, we are cranking too much of it out, and you can show the data on there over a period of time that we have. One of the biggest components is how we get our different power sources, and we need to start pivoting to see opportunities out there. And there's a lot of financial opportunities in this world that we call clean energy or green energy. There's massive amounts of money that governments promises to allocate with the Paris Accord as well as subsequent accords, and they talked about spending money by the trillions of dollars by the year 2050. Quite frankly, investing in green energy is a smart business move. It's nice to sit down and argue about whether this is true or this is true. If you can make money on it, it's a business opportunity. This is a business class. Pay attention to that aspect of it. The supply chain, can you reduce it? Can you advertise it? Can you make more profit in it? Is your company contributing towards climate change by emitting too many carbon dioxide, too much different types of gases that we call greenhouse gases? Understand the impact and responsibility. Reducing carbon footprints really is essential to mitigate climate change and its adverse effects. We do see rising temperatures. We do see some sea level rising. We do see some extreme weather events, from stronger hurricanes to stronger tornadoes to whatever we have going on in the system. So we have different things happening. What can you do in your company to reduce this, and then advertise it to make certain the world knows what you're doing to reduce your corporate carbon footprint? A lot of it, we reduce it through recycling, waste prevention, long-term planning. The most important is achieved at the end of life stage for different products. A lot of our products, by the time they're done, we have not built the design in them to actually have them easily dismantled. It can be very expensive to dispose of some complex things, anywhere from washing machines to refrigerators to cars in the process. Disposal waste incineration, all of a sudden now you're creating more greenhouse gases. Can you find a way of disposing of waste in a different way that is safer for the environment? Look at the product life cycle. That's going to reduce emissions. And here's a diagram of what a product life cycle generally is for most vehicles. You'll have an introductory stage, a growth stage, a maturity stage, and the decline stage. When you look on the perception that environmental is about 80% of the product's environmental impact is designed at the design phase, a lot of it's considered at the very end stage as to how we dispose of things. We need to sit down and get a handle on that. We seem as a society to be ignoring that, although more companies are stepping up, because this is another opportunity to reduce the carbon footprint and make some money. So, sourcing decisions, pay attention to where it's coming from. It's going to be interesting to watch one of the newer products coming in the market called electric vehicles. There's a huge scramble across planet Earth for more lithium for lithium ion batteries. I'm looking forward to the next generation of batteries that may not use lithium. But in the meantime, we have a scramble where we're going to be mining lithium through different methodologies, anywhere from digging it out of the earth, doing surface, stripping away surface soil to get to the lithium, all the way to actually mining it out of seabeds from the Salt Lake Sea to whatever types of other aspects where oceans have dried up, or we actually mine it straight out of the oceans. We have some deep sea mining operations under discussion and so on. We'll see what happens. And I don't know about you, but some of that stuff, I'm not certain we're going to be saving stuff and preventing pollution or creating a different source of pollution. Either way, we have to watch it and see what happens out of it if you're serious about sustainability. Design strategies that consumers see what's going on out there. We need to sit down and take a look at supply chain configurations. When you find something and to find an opportunity, if you just have a few things being shipped by air, life is good. If you have a whole lot of them being shipped by air, maybe you can modify that and do some different aspects. Maybe some more distributed manufacturing with smaller plants located closer to consumers. That might help an awful lot. We as an American nation, we bring a lot of goods into our country, and maybe if we have smaller, more productive and high efficiency plants with more robotics closer to consumers, we could stop transporting so many goods across the oceans, through the skies and so on, and reduce the overall supply chain configuration as well as the actual pollution caused by them. Efficient packaging, recycling, look at all the different opportunities out there. We need to take a holistic perspective of product design and the supply chain carbon footprint. Carbon footprint reduction can cost money. It can also increase revenue. It might become required because governments may step in. And by the way, people, consumers, are watching. It's a big deal, not just for you, but also for the consumers. If it's a big deal for them, it could be a bigger deal for you on your bottom line. Take care.